John Webb. Ladies and gentlemen, Gamekeeper John. Now, in a minute you're going to see how extraordinary, because we're going to be running some of John's videos on the screen there. And also, look, I went down to the fishing shop. Is it that pocket? I'll find it. I've got a bag of balls here.
Oh, I did bring some soft ones as well.
Soft ones, okay. Well, I finished my Coca-Cola. We'll put the can over there. Last year we tried to do this, and Aaron, the tech guy at the back, said no, we're not allowed to. It's a health and safety risk. Yeah, yes, you. This year we've put up a screen to protect David, the producer. We'll put the can over there, and although we're only using cork balls, which I think aerodynamically can't...
Yeah, they can swerve massively. Yeah, that's my excuse.
He's making excuses, exactly.
They don't fly straight.
But before we do that, let's talk about catapults, because I mean it's become, thanks to the internet, very popular, hasn't it?
It's taken off globally. Just the amount of people getting into it, the events people are putting on, catapult clubs all over the country, and it's just getting bigger and bigger every year.
So if I kind of listen to this chat and I like the look of what I see on the screen, and that is an extraordinary shot. My goodness, what did you just shoot there?
I don't know.
It was up in the sky. You just threw something up in it. What was
marble.
It? A marble.
Yeah.
With a
marble.
With a marble. Blimey. Okay. It'll take you a little while to get there. But if I wanted to just get going with catapulting, is there a kind of central federation? How do I do it?
The ESF, English Slingshot Federation, is the main one, and there's several other shoots popping up round and clubs. You can visit them online, just pay your membership and go, basically.
And what happens when I get there? What do I find?
A friendly bunch, very welcoming, to give you tips, helpful advice. You'll have, if you're in competition, you can have anything from 10 knockdown targets at a set distance at 10 metre or 20 metre, or just last week we was in Solihull at an event, and the ESF put a hunter's course on. That was 50 targets from probably that big to 60, 70 mil.
So that's like dotted round woods?
Yeah, all around the woods.
And it's got a cross between practical pistol shooting and Hatfield target.
It took about 5-6 hours to get around the course, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
God. And what was your maximum? What could one score?
150, I think was the maximum.
How did you get on?
95.
Well, was that enough to win? Or?
Oh no.
No. It's nice to hear you're human anyway.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So I mean, I must say I can vouch for the social bit.
Yeah.
I mean, when I've been along to anything,
you've been to one, haven't you?
Exactly,
yeah.
And it's great. They're lovely people,
yeah.
And you get to shoot catapult straight because you'll pick up tips, and it's a very good thing.
You can learn more turning up to one of the meets than you will anywhere else, because they're just an helpful bunch. Will basically show you where you're going wrong and put you right.
Tell us what this is. It's like the younger you.
Oh, that was about 10 years ago, that video.
just talk us through what's going on here.
Oh, that was elastic on an old phone. Oh, that's an old video. That is Charlie. You got me there.
What does catch you in your prime?
Well, yeah, you can put elastic on anything and shoot it, really.
Oh my goodness, elastic on a phone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's extraordinary.
So there is loads of different types.
Right, have you got some catapults in there?
Yes, I have.
So I'll tell you what, I'll do the microphone, you do the showing off. What have you brought along?
I've just brought a selection from my collection, just showing some old school stuff, some naturals and a couple of the newer type.
Okay, give us a walk through the many and varied world of catapults, and oh my goodness, they're everywhere. Pick up the first one you can and tell us what it is exactly.
Most people who have been shooting would probably start, or back in the day would have shot something like that.
I remember that being
everybody's shot.
The Black Cat or the Diablo, yes.
But well, the thing is, nobody shoots them no more.
Really?
At the shoot we was at last week, there's probably several hundred people, a couple hundred people. I don't think I've seen anybody shooting anything like this.
Is it because the arm brace is kind of needlessly complicated?
I think there's just too much going on, and the tubes that fit on them, not many people shoot tubes now. It's all the flat band. Probably 95% of shooters now will shoot a type of flat band.
Can I ask, what do the antenna on the front of that thing do? Does it detect the target?
Apparently it's a balancing thing. I wouldn't shoot that.
Well, you and I, okay, so you run the Catapult show on YouTube, and I love doing catapult things on Field Sports channel, and we both got a Chinese catapult to give away to the viewers the other day, didn't we? It came with laser sights.
Laser sights. It was twice the size of that thing, wasn't it? It was huge.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It had,
but it worked.
4 springs. It had rubber. It had everything. It was amazing.
I've never seen anybody shoot anything like that. You just wouldn't.
I mean, it didn't have telescopic sights, but it could have done.
Yeah, the laser sight, because I don't get how a laser sight would work, because your wrist can move. It's like, you probably scare what you're shooting at off before you could actually get the shot off, so yeah.
So basically, more complicated is out now, and we're into a simpler world, really, aren't we? Okay, what else have you got that kind of shows off that simplicity?
I brought a few from my collection here. These are what most people are shooting now. The aluminium types, the polycarbonate types like the Wasp, just anything simple, small and pocketable really now. There's no design that's leading the way. There's several designs, but anything pocketable, lower forks, no arm braces and flat bands.
Okay, unloaded, just show how you'd use one of those.
Well, I would shoot that one, sorry.
Like it is unloaded.
Yeah, there's nothing in it. And I would look down the bands to line it up and use that as a reference point on the target, and then all you need to do then is just get your elevation right up and down, because as long as you release it right, in theory it should fly in the same line of the bands, unless you're using cork balls.
As we're about to find out. But it's interesting, the only thing that's actually moving is your right arm from your elbow to your wrist. So your hand's staying the same, your right hand's staying the same.
It will stay the same.
And your left is just pulled
like
back.
That,
And if you lock your right arm in...
Yeah, I'd lock that one out,
Okay, so once that's moved and in place, it's up to you to stay rigid and solid.
The more you shoot, your muscle memory will, the repetition of it, you'll get used to it the more you shoot, basically.
Okay, now we have a pigeon that's about to beat a sad end. Yeah, there it goes. Hey, good shot. Now, I have heard people who shoot say it's illegal to use catapults to shoot. And yet, it's not, is it?
Not in this country, anyway. Canada it is.
Is it really?
In Canada, yeah. And in Germany, if it has a wrist brace on.
Oh, really?
Apart from that, it's pretty fair game worldwide.
So the German lawmakers saw those great big technical things in the 1990s and said, no, we don't want those.
But you could shoot this, which will put out more power.
I mean, and as far as humane is concerned, I mean, sometimes people say it doesn't provide humane shot. Answer that one.
That's down to the shooter, and that you should know if you're good enough to hunt or not. Really, you want to do it cleanly. Obviously, that's the main thing.
So as with shotguns, as with anything, if you're good enough to take the shot, you can take the shot. If you're not good enough, don't take the shot.
Don't take it. Okay. Use the right bands and ammo. So if you hit it, you're taking it down. You don't want to be tickling its back and scaring it off or anything. You want it out, basically.
And the great thing about this is the ammunition's so cheap. I mean, you can practice.
Yeah, you get 10,000 balls for something like about £50 or something. That would last you years. And if you build a catch box at home, you can keep reusing them.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's right. Is that solid steel, aren't they?
Yeah, solid. Yeah.
Size 5, 6.
Size varies. I use 9.5. There's a lot of people who use 7s and 8s. It's all preference. There's no right or wrong. I know somebody who shoots 8s regular, and he kills everything. Just in and out, basically. Just quick, fast.
There you go. Yeah.
It's like the 177 and the 2-2 argument.
Oh no, don't.
It doesn't matter if it's small or big. It's honestly what works.
If you want to annoy any of our viewers, either bring up the 177 or.
Well, that's the same that we have on with all the catapult boys. Now it's like, well, this is better, well, that's better. It's what you prefer.
No.
Simple as that.
Now, do you actually? Is this one of your own designs?
That's one of my newer designs. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a little plug, shall we? Because you do actually some of these catapults are available for sale from the Gamekeeper John website. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's the Gamekeeper's website?
Well, my website is gamekeepercatapults.co.uk, and these aluminium ones that I do are on proshotcatapults.co.uk.
And so you work with ProShot as well. So you design them.
He's commissioned to do my metal ones. Okay. And then I do my own wooden ones and other stuff on my website.
Okay, but it's interesting that when I went to the SHOT Show in Las Vegas, which is all about guns, there were catapults there as well. Yeah. And some quite big makers like Gamma, which actually owns BSA. They're making catapults now, and they're kind of doing them, stamped out in plastic and plastic wrapped and things like that. Yeah. But they work.
No, well, we know a lot of Americans on forums and the groups that we talk to, and none of them are shooting them armrest ones that you sent the video of. So that's just like what you see, but nobody uses them that much. There is people, obviously, but
I think it's as you get into catapults, you realise that design, the one you're holding, is
anything small and pocketable, really.
What's your biggest seller?
It's the Pocket Poacher series, it is. We have a few various types in wood and all types.
Can you hold those two up so we can see a difference? Is there a difference between those two, or are they the same?
Yeah, that is over the top.
OTT.
So it's called OTT, which when you pull back, the bands go over the top. And that one is a TTF through the fork, so when you pull back, the elastic actually goes through the middle.
Okay, can you see the difference there? So you've got over the top and through the fork. And in terms of shooting it, what's the difference, or isn't there one?
Preference. I'm not going into that. I've got my preference, but it's each to their own.
Okay, so if you want to follow the Gamekeeper John preference, what is it?
TTF.
TTF, through the fork every time. So band round the side.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a very, very poor shot indeed, and I'm OTT. I shall now change. Okay, what else have you got there? Because you've got some very kind of ordinary wooden ones.
I've just brought a few out of my collection. That's actually by Bay Forge Catapults, a friend of mine. He actually done that out of old ironwork.
Oh,
the
okay.
old iron, basically bent it round, and that's a through the fork one.
So what was that? That was a kind of long piece of metal.
A long piece of iron that he's heated up and battered it basically into shape. Yeah.
I mean, my dad had a catapult which I now have, which is the old Milbro with rather horrifying. It had that kind of thumb.
Yeah, just put your thumb in the way. Yeah.
And you would then splinter your thumbnail into 1,000 pieces every.
Seen that done many a time.
Exactly.
Yeah, loads of people.
But I mean, that was a pretty classic design, wasn't it?
Yeah, people still shoot them a lot. It's like the old school community that shoot them with the tubes and the big lead balls. There's quite a few still shoot them, but in tournament mode and to be the most accurate, not many people do that either. It's the flat band type that.
So that's the kind of muzzle loading end of the catapult world. Okay, but the wooden ones that you brought up, because I mean, there's probably nothing kind of easier and simpler than going and cutting a good fork.
I cut that from a tree. It looks crap, I know. Put 2 slots in, and it took minutes to make. And I won 2 trophies with that last weekend.
No.
That thing.
And what is it? That a bit of hazel or ash or something like that?
It's ash. That one is, I believe.
And you've got 2 branches growing up out of right next to each other, so it's a pretty ideal fork. It doesn't look terribly balanced. Does that matter?
No, it's not, to be honest. But I got used to shooting it. But anybody can go and chop something off a tree and within minutes have something that works. And if you're good enough, hunt with it, compete with it.
Now you won't be able to see it, but it's got quite a clever little design for holding the elastic in place, which is based on a split in the fork and then a kind of a wooden peg at the end of the elastic. But apart from that, and the elastic itself, you get that on eBay.
Yeah, you get it on eBay. I sell them, but it's much cheaper to make your own. But they only cost a couple of pounds to buy anyway, and they will see you through 300 to 600 shots depending on what ammo you use and how hard you pull it.
I find how accurately or inaccurately I manage to attach it to the catapult.
Yeah.
That one flying off always hurts. And the pouch, is it the pouch at the end?
Yeah, they're just normal leather. There's all sorts of new materials out, microfibers, leathers, kangaroo hide, pigskin.
And do people get a little bit fashionable about this? I have a...
Pouches are very fussy, it's a touchy subject. So everybody says one material is better than the other, but like everything else, it is preference.
Okay.
I'm going to sit on the fence with that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're thinking
preference, yeah.
A lot of fence sitting. Right, I think it's time to have a look at this in use. So I'm going to ask you to load up. I'm going to walk to the other end of the stage. I'm going to ask David Parsons, the producer, to please take cover because we're about to shoot the catapult. Oh, that's fine. He's a very fast mover. Right, so what are you using? Are you using rubber there?
It's like a squishy rubber ball, which doesn't fly straight.
Oh, yeah, as you said. Okay, let's see if you can get that can from there. Ooh, that was close. David, don't come out. You really, you still don't want to be hit by the squishy rubber ball. What went wrong there?
Oh, I missed.
Another thing you'll find about catapult people are very straight talking. Very straight talking. Yes! Brilliant. Well done. Good. Proof that it works. Okay. Catapulting in the future. Are you? Yeah. Take that away. Are we reaching a point where you're going to move into professional sponsors, big ticket shoots? Could it be an Olympic sport?
I believe so. In China now, they have it televised and there's big cash prizes. They're a couple of years ahead of us. But I do believe the way it's going, and with the committee, the ESF, the way they are running it now, and that, I do think it's going to get bigger. How big?
We'll just have to wait and see. One of the problems we have with clay shooting is, you know, there is this idea that it's intrinsically boring. Now, we at Phil Sports Channel make clay shooting films, and we disagree, because it's okay. You knock that over, and there's a kind of dramatic moment where it fell over. But really, it's about you. You know, it's about you, and also, frankly, if they can make golf interesting, we shouldn't have any problem with catapults, really, should we? So is it? I mean, do you think it's televisual enough to make it?
It definitely will be, I think, yeah, because it really depends on the target systems as well. You want to see the targets, bro. Like, if shooting at a piece of paper, it might not be that good to watch, but like a chalk disc or something that moves and knocks down, it does make better watching.
And there's something just wonderfully kind of viscerally brilliant about knocking over a can, isn't there?
It seems different from guns and all of the stuff. That I don't know, I'm not going to say you need more skill, because that's unfair on anything else, but it's just a piece of elastic and a stick. You've got to make all the adjustments yourself. You haven't got a dot, or except on that Chinese one,
yes,
or you haven't got your sights or anything. So you sort of have to adjust to it.
It has, in the past, had an image problem because it's been associated with poaching. And, and there is a wonderful kind of catapulting word which sort of strays into all sorts of areas.
It does have a dark side image and stuff as well.
But mooching is. I mean, I love the idea of mooching, but I suspect there is also a kind of, you know, in the evening when nobody's watching.
It's nice to walk out in the middle of the country with one and just do what you got to do, really.
But then you're rather boring. You have permission to shoot on the country.
On mine, yeah.
Oh God, what kind of ambassador are you for the sport?
Yeah, we have a few permissions. We keep horses, so we've got permissions on those things. So keep the rabbits down, the pigeons off, and whatever.
And you know, from a pest control point of view, why not? One of the things I love about catapults is that the Royal Horticultural Society website actually advises you to use catapults. It says get rid of garden pests by a catapult.
Wasn't one of the Royals advising one or using one? Did I hear you say that once?
Oh, I'm sure. I say a lot of old talk. Yeah.
I'm sure it was you that said it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I've always felt that it's one of the nobler things you can learn to shoot. If you can shoot a catapult straight, you'll probably be all right with a gun.
With a gun, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so we have got a bright future for catapults.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's in safe hands with the committee that's got it now and the way it's going.
And lovely people who do it. A wonderful range of what are your prices for catapults here?
You can buy DIY kits for literally a couple of pounds, or you can have high-end cast ones up to £60, £70. There's something for everybody, really. But
okay, the ideal stocking filler. And of course, while you're buying one for somebody else, pop one in your pocket for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Too right.
And you know, been watching that video behind you. It's very, very difficult not to watch because you are an amazingly good shot. Ladies and gentlemen, Gamekeeper John.
Thank you.
Right, well, as John gathers his belongings, pops into a